Hello, everyone. This is a stone that I got here locally from a Portuguese lady who has some stones, apparently. Nothing like this stone, just a few basic quartz and stuff. And this looks like quartz, except it's terminated as like a topaz. If you look at it, it's terminated like a topaz. It's got that little fracture on the side there. And it's got like it seems as if it's been bombarded with sand particles for thousands of years under some stream or something sitting at the bottom of the stream and rolling over and over. You see everywhere, all around, it's like that. So that shows many thousands of years of abrasion by some kind of sand. I'm going to put some wintergreen oil on it and see what it looks like inside here. There you go. It looks fantastic. It's stunning. Except I go ahead and I mess it up. So yeah, after what I did, I didn't videotape what I was grinding it outside on the grinder, like a grinder disc, and I caused huge fractures inside, but I still managed to get, well, you'll see. Yeah, here I have already tried to grind it on the grinder outside, and you're gonna see there's a huge fracture right there, and I have no choice but to grind that out on my machine. And as you're gonna see, this is gonna be a lot of material removed. A lot of material removed. By the way, this is my own homemade machine. Now it's completely homemade. The mast and the the hand to hold the stone, and it's very precise. It's amazing. It works very well. So it's gonna take me a while to grind down the fractures. So I'm just gonna continue doing that. As you can see, the stone is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and there's still a bit of the fracture left. That fracture went a lot deeper than I thought. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue, and then gonna do some preforming as well. Here I'm going to start to preforming. It looks, I think I've taken out, yeah, I've taken out all the fractures that I've caused. Look how much I've lost. A lot. I've lost over 400 carats from the stone. It's gone down the drain just by my little silly mistake. I knew it would fracture if I used that it's a steel grinder for axes and wood and stuff, and I should not. And it vibrates like crazy. I should not have done that. Here I'm making the space for the table, and I've preformed it somewhat. And soon I am going to chop it and start cutting. Basic Portuguese cut. And again, I make another boo-boo after, and I'll show you, I'll tell you about it when we get there. That's my dad watching me there. He's watching what I'm doing. I'm ready to start cutting now. There's my dad. He's 94. And it's pretty cool. Yeah, so he likes to watch me sometimes. I'm starting to cut the girdle. I'm starting on a 260 grit disc. It's a steel, diamond-plated steel disc. And I have to tell you, it is so satisfying cutting on this machine, my new last system here. It is so satisfying and so precise. I love it. Yeah, I don't know how I used to cut without it before. I had so many problems, and I had to sort of compensate always for a lot of mistakes. This one almost makes no mistakes. Well, I'm the one who makes the mistakes, yeah. The other machine, well, it's the same machine. I just had a different system here I was using. Not even close to this. The precision and it's like once you cut a facet, you can always come back to it precisely, exactly, and they're all equal and even. As you can see, it's a lot of work that went into machine. This one, a lot of work. This machine took months and months and months to complete, and I'm so happy with it. And these parts are carved out of solid blocks of stainless steel. So there's a lot of steel that went into that. And a lot of big blocks that were cut down and carved out to pieces that I used to make. And I also designed, it's my own original design, so it's pretty good. I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm done with the girdle. So and you're gonna see here that I'm gonna start cutting it. I'm not gonna do the culet first, like I usually would. I'm gonna start cutting from the girdle and then moving towards the culet. So this is to be able to do it that way. You have to make sure you calculate. You have to make sure you envision exactly where you're gonna be, because if you end up not having enough, like if your stone is deeper than your cuts, you're gonna have to recut the entire thing. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but I think you guys know what I mean. If I don't cut deep enough here, and then going on to the next row, the next tier, I may have to cut the entire thing all over. So to do that, you have to know exactly what you're doing in terms of how deep you're going to cut. Also, you have to make sure your machine is very straight and true, and you have to have the confidence to do it. Yeah. And mind you, I am a new cutter and I'm making a lot of mistakes. I'm still learning. So I cut the first tier that's right next to the girdle at 60 degrees. The second tier, I cut it at 50 degrees. The third tier at 45 degrees. And the fourth tier at 42 degrees, approximately, or thereabouts. I did it by eye, really. So, those are the angles at which I cut the 4 tiers. And I only did 4 tiers instead of 5. And I did, well, as you can see there, I didn't do 16 facets, I did 12. So, per tier. And I have to cut deep enough to make sure that the next 4 tiers will work out how deep I'm going. Yet I keep enough for the girdle, which is what my plan is, and hopefully it will work out. First tier is almost done. First tier is almost done. Yeah. On to the next. Let's see if I went deep enough. If my angle was deep enough for the second tier. I think it is. It looks all right. Well, I actually know. Okay, this is voiceover pre-recording, but I mean, you know. And I apologize. Sometimes I'm using my phone to video, and sometimes I can't focus. No matter what I do, I can't focus, and it's a really good video on the phone. It's like really high-end quality, but for some reason I can't focus sometimes. So I have to do all kinds of maneuvers to try and focus the camera. But it's looking good. Just a little bit more, and the first facet on the second tier will be done. I just want to meet the meet point and on to the next. But I gotta tell you, folks, I am so satisfied with this machine, so happy with it because I don't have to do a lot of extra maneuvering for my meet points to meet. It's so precise and it cuts right on. So the angle is very precise and the machine doesn't move outside of its pre-designated space, that whatever setting you use. Yeah, so I'm very happy with that. Important things that I've learned while cutting. What could go wrong? So many things could go wrong. Your glue could start to soften from the warmth in your hand, and your stone will start to shift and you don't realize it. Your dopstick could be bent, slightly bent, could be putting a little too much stress on the machine, so that if you put enough stress on it, the metal will actually slightly bend, and you won't feel it, you won't know it, you'll only be wondering why is always my next facet, or why by the time I reach the end of the tier, the facets are off, and then especially if you think you're cutting it right on and you're doing everything correctly. So those are many things. Anything that moves, if the mast moves a little bit even, your will not be right on 100%. So your dop has to be straight, it has to be centered in the quill. Your glue has to be really set, cannot be warm or warm it up in the stone, cannot shift the stone. Uh, your lap has to be straight also. So whatever, well, that's debatable, because whatever you're cutting it at has to be always the same in relative to the mast and the arm that you know where the stone is. So many things that can go wrong, but as I said, this machine, it is so solid stainless steel, and there's no movement outside of where I'm moving the stone to. There's zero give. So, and that's very important. So any mistake would be my mistake, would be my own doing, not the machine. I was nervous about my angle for the first tier, but from the looks of it, it looks like my angle was right on, and it looks like I'm going to be able to fit without having to recut the first tier, to recut anything. I'm going to be able to fit the 4 tiers properly, and it's going to look great. Here I'm finishing the 3rd tier on the pavilion. And here I made another boo-boo. I knew I should not put another tier. I had already finished my fourth, and I tried to put a fifth, and I did not have enough space, so I had to cut the fourth a little bit more so that my meat points were not. I ate into a little bit into the tip of the third tier, so that was my mistake. I tried to put a fifth tier, and it wouldn't go in, not as I wanted it, so I had to recut the fourth a little bit, and it cut into the tip, just the tip, just slightly. But it's okay. It doesn't look bad at all. And here I'm polishing, so starting with the culet and moving backwards. So tier 4, tier 3, tier 2, and then tier 1, and then the girdle. And I just 1 millimeter of the girdle, because the rest is going to be removed in the crown. But it's looking fantastic so far. It is not easy faceting with one hand and trying to video with the other hand, especially with my pain in my hands. It is very difficult. I keep dropping the stone and I keep dropping the phone, and yeah, that is not easy. That's quite an undertaking actually, but I'm managing. One day I hope I can get someone to help me videotape. Yeah, here I'm polishing the girdle, and just about a millimeter, just a little over a millimeter I'm polishing. The rest will be removed for the crown. So and it's looking fantastic, well centered, beautiful side, like very, very precise sizes, like identical facets for every tier. Um, I think we did very well with that. Now I will transfer, and so we can cut the crown, except I'm using the wrong machine to transfer. Very bad, very bad. I used the wrong machine because, as I'm gonna find out now, my stone is not centered on the dot. It's moved by over a millimeter. And I didn't realize that until I started cutting the first facet on the first tier of the crown. Some of the glue is still attached to the crown where the table is gonna be, but that's okay. We just grind it off. But the problem is, I still haven't realized it at this point, is that the stone is completely shifted. It's straight horizontally. I mean, this line in reference to the girdle line, but the entire stone is shifted over one side. Look, so the center of the culet is not at the center of the dop. It's shifted over by over 1 millimeter. There, you can see it. So it's here, there's a lot less space than here, by over maybe 2 millimeters even. So I'm gonna try and see, gonna cut a little deeper and see what happens. I will remove the stone off the dop if I have to and re-dop it. And using the one I should have used in the first place, the other transfer jig. That was a bad move on my part. Again, my mistake. And I'm gonna do that before I do the next facet, because I can redo this one and then go on after I recenter it and redop it and continue the crown. Because it may work okay now for the first, and then for every next facet it'll be less and less aligned and less aligned, and by the time I finish the first tier, it's going to be way off, and then the tier after that, and then every tier after that is going to be way off. So I have no choice. I want this stone to be fantastic. I want it to be great, so I have to take it off the dop, put it in acetone for a couple of days, 3 days, maybe 2-3 days, so I don't want to damage it, and then redop it properly. Yeah. I'm air drying my lap so that it doesn't rust or anything. And I'm looking at the stone in the meantime, trying to figure out what I'm doing, how I'm going to do it. But the decision has already been made. I have to take it off the glue, take it off the dop, recenter it properly, use the correct dop transfer, and do that. It's way off. You can see it's way off. Yeah, so this one is a no good, bad machine. Yeah, so I don't know, it's a really nice cut so far. It's worth taking the time and effort to fix it, make sure it's done right. See how that is way off? You see that? Look, this is way, way, way off. This transfer jig is horrible and it was not cheap. Yeah, this is no good. Look how it's like at least 1 millimeter here, and I tried to push it together and I couldn't. So I'm gonna show you the next one. I should have been using the one I usually use, and you're gonna see the difference with the same dopsticks. Look at that. Huge difference. This one is like aligns perfectly. So that's what I should have done. So here we go, redopping. It's gonna soak the stone for 3 days or so to remove all the epoxy off of it and then redop it. And off to the next video. And here you can see my beautiful machine. Beautiful machine. I'm so proud of it. I'll see you guys in the next video.